Hi everyone, good morning. Good morning from Rita and Miss Rita to the rescue, and my dogs, especially Teddy Bear. I'm hoping that I can get a few people come on this morning. We're going to be doing a great project, and I want to show you what it is. And you might hear my machine in the background or see on my screen that I'm cutting chipboard, and I wanted to get a head start on this. But we're going to be making this today. It's sort of a design that I came up with that includes the foil, the new foil transfer kit, and then it's mounted. I'm going to turn it over. Hi, good morning. It's mounted on heavy chipboard. I chose this because I wanted to show you how the knife blade works and how thick heavy chipboard is. But if you do not have a maker, I would not recommend the heavy chipboard for this. I would probably recommend like doubled up craft board or tripled up craft board or something. It is very, very thick, and so it really is very sturdy. And I'd actually put it together with I couldn't come up with a better plan than this, so I did. No, Lisa, yeah, that's the thing. Chipboard, the thicker chipboard cannot be cut with the Air 2. So I want to show you, just because I think there's some curiosity around chipboard. It is Mystery Material Monday, and it does require the use of a special tool. So I want to show you how this works, and right now it's actually almost done. It takes 20, even with the maker and the knife blade, okay, it takes 24 passes to cut the chipboard. So it's quite thick. And let me show you, I have a little extra piece left over. This is chipboard heavy. Now look at this. It's almost like board. I mean, it really is very thick. I mean, when you look at it, and I tried to cut it with my, where is it? I had my, where is it? Oh, yeah, I can't find it. I tried to cut it with my craft knife, my True Control knife, and I was able to cut through it here, and but this here, this is where I cut through it with my craft knife, and this is where the knife blade cut through, I believe. Yeah, that's where the knife blade cut through. So I have something going right now, and it's doing the last of 24 times through the machine, okay? No, it's not, Dorothy. So I'm going to wait for it to finish. It's just about finished. And I'm going to show you how it looks coming out. Well, it says it's done, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to make one extra pass for good luck or something. But anyway, what I did was I found these images on Cricut Design Space. They're there for you. I'm going to show you where you can find them. And one of the things I noticed was that the Magi were facing the wrong way if I put them on the right-hand side. So I decided to move that over to the right-hand side and flip the image. Okay, it's done. And flip the image and do the same with the shepherds. Okay, so here's my mat. Now see, I covered it with masking tape. I'm using the heavy duty mat. I can just kind of peel off the masking tape, or I could even just pop out. This is the kind of thing, if you wanted to make puzzles, it's really thick. If you wanted to make puzzles, or maybe, okay, here we go. So if you want to make puzzles or something that was very, very thick, like a frame, or this, in this case, I wanted it to be able to stand on its own. And so that's the cutout. that was done with this blade and my maker. I'm going to show you how to put it on the mat as well. But that's my craft knife, or my knife blade, I should say. And it's its own, it doesn't have the adaptable thing. So you have to use the actual, you have to have the craft blade. So this is sort of advanced materials as well. Okay, so but I want to show you, just in case, so I actually got this morning another question about the Maker versus the Air 2. Now, my feeling is that the Air 2 is a fabulous machine, and clearly the folks at Cricut are going to continue to work with it, because we know that because the foil works, the foil transfer kit works with the Explore as well as the Maker. So that all being said, if people were going to do some pretty odd materials, or they wanted to cut fabric, that's really the only reason why I would recommend the Maker. And it does have a lot of really great tools and everything, but you have to consider, your budget. And the Explorer has some pretty great deals out there. So I personally would just kind of go for something that's a good deal, if that is sort of an issue. If money is an issue, or you just want to be frugal or whatever. I worked on and I still have the Explore Air 2, and before that I had the Air 1. I had the regular Explore. I have I had an Explore 1. They're all great machines, and they all do some pretty amazing things, but for some of these materials. But I wanted to show you this. I'm sort of cutting, taking my cutting off. So I also wanted to show you this. This is that foil transfer, and I actually did it on the same page because I wanted to use a full page of foil. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let me go to my screen and show you where I got these images and how I changed them. So here are my 3 images. So what I did for this is I used these 3 images. I used this for the chipboard, and then I used this for the back, so I could cover my my tape. So I put tape to connect these 3 together. And then I use this paper to sort of, it's kind of like a starry paper. Okay? Just, no secrets. This is how I did it. Let's look at images first. I'm going to shade these out. Shh, Teddy. All right, we're going to go to images, and we're going to go to image sets, my favorite place in the image search engine, and we will type in the word dimensional. Oh my God, I'm having trouble. Dimensional. Yeah, it's DIM, like dime, dimensional. And under dimensional, you will see quite a few of these wonderful projects that are 3D, and I've done a lot of these. They look fabulous. Thank you, David. I will tell them, hey, you guys, David says hi. And these are great projects to do, and we've done actually a couple. We did these ones for Halloween, the dimensional scene, Spooky Hollow. I don't know if you remember that, but we did like this one, which is a witch, or 3 witches around a cauldron. And then we also did this 2 kids trick-or-treating in the woods. And they basically, it's kind of like a mandala, where you would cut out all these layers, and then you put between it some mounting foam. Okay, let me just go back. So there is one for the Nativity. And this is actually one of the first ones they came out with. And here are the ones that are dimensional. They're beautiful. I would definitely recommend that you try them. But I was looking for something to do with the foil. So I thought, okay, I remember that they had a drawing one here. So here is the actual, the crush. And then here are our 3 wise men. And then over here are the shepherds in the field. So we're going to pull those in to our canvas. They do come in small, and I decided, I want to get a little closer here. I decided that I was going to make the one, if you see, they're kind of small. I wanted to keep the fact that the middle piece was bigger so it would look like a triptych, But they come in at like about 3 inches in height for the biggest one. So I think I switched mine to, let me just check, about 6 inches. The biggest one is about 6 inches, I believe. Nope, I might be wrong. No, it looks like about 7. I did them at 7. So you could try that, or you could try 6 inches if you want. So I just changed the height here to 7. And you can actually see the picture better. I have to take this cough drop out of my mouth. Sorry. So you can see the picture a little bit better. And the height is 7, and it does do the width proportionate to the height. And for the ones next to it, I probably, if the middle one is 7, I probably choose 6 and see if I like that. Maybe I would go 5.5. Like this. All right. So again, we're just changing the height, 5.5. Okay. Now we need to change it because right now this is set up as draw. So if you look up here at the line type, now it will say multiple if you have the entire image selected, and that's because there are multiple types there. There's the cut and then there's the drawing. But if you just choose over here, the draw feature, it will show draw. Okay, now you want to make sure you just choose that layer, because if you choose the entire thing and switch it to foil, then you won't have any cut out of there, okay? Which, you could potentially put a cut underneath it as well. That's a possibility. Okay, so I changed it to draw, so now I'm going to line type and I'm going to choose foil. And because this is very detailed, I'm going to choose the fine. So I choose fine. You see that? And it comes in as gold. We're going to change that just so that you can see what we're trying to do here. So again, I'm going to do the middle one, foil, fine, and then the last one, just going to select the drawing part and switch from draw to foil, fine. Couple of things. One, I want to do this on blue paper, and I want to do silver foil. Okay, so I need to, for visually, because I'm a very visual person, I want to see how that's going to look. I think it's going to look pretty good. So what I want to do is I want to change the background of this cutout to blue. So I'm going to choose this blue, and you see it comes up with the gold, but that's okay. We can change that as well. All right, so here's the blue, and I'm just going over here, choosing this cut part of the layer, and then I'm going up to line type, and right next to it, it looks like there's nothing there, but actually that's white, and then I'm choosing the color that I want. Okay, so we've got some things that are already done here, but we've got a few more things that need to happen. First, I want to change it to silver because I want to see if I like it. So by doing that, I need to, again, go over here to this layer and choose this foil fine, and I want to change it to silver. So then I come back here, and you'll see it's a gold square, okay? So we're going to choose silver. and then it immediately changes all of our foiling to silver. We're going to do the same thing. Again, just choose the foil, come over here next to the line type and choose silver. Do the third one here. Line type, silver. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is something you think about, but I don't know, in my head, when I think of the nativity, and it might be from when I was a kid and we had nativity sets and we would set them up, every year and stuff. We actually would play with them. But then again, I used to play church. So, so that's just the kind of kid that I was. But in my nativity scenes, the wise men or the magi were kings from the Orient or from the East, right? So in my head, as I'm looking at the nativity, I need my wise men to be on the opposite side. And in my head, my shepherds are in the field. So I'm going to move my shepherds over here, making this the field, and this is Bethlehem, right? So the only problem with that is that my magi, my kings, are facing the wrong way. They're supposed to be following the star. That's the whole idea of the nativity, is that the wise men from the east come by following a star. And this is the star, right? And then here on the left-hand side, the shepherds are looking from their fields at the star. So they're both looking the wrong way, even if I move them to the right and to the left. So I want to do something different. And I want to flip this image. Okay, so I'm going to first detach. Detach is down here, and I'm just going to flip these two, not this one, doesn't need to be flipped. So I'm going to detach, and I'm going to select just the foil image, okay? Just this part where the magi is. I'm going to get in real close so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So the magi, I know, but Bren, it makes sense, right? I mean, come on, you guys, tell me it makes sense. My thought process. I mean, I need them to be right. Okay. So they're looking to the east. They're coming from the east. They can't be looking to the east. They need to be looking to the west. So I'm going to switch them around, and I'm going to do that by flipping the images. Okay. So right here, there is, after arrange, there's flip. And there's two ways to flip. You can flip horizontally or you can flip vertically. So in this case, we want to flip horizontally. So we're going to do this and watch. All of a sudden, my kings are facing to the nativity, and that's what I want. I think it's just more biblically correct that way. Now I do need to go back and make sure I reattach this image there so that it works together. And let's go over and do the same thing with our shepherds. I'm going to detach down here, detach. I am going to select just the drawing, and I am going to flip horizontally. You know, I suppose you could flip the entire thing, but this way works for me in my head. So, but then I have to go back and reattach it. Okay. So then here comes the chipboard. Okay. So here's our three pieces of the triptych. But we need something behind it. We need something behind it to give it a stiffness. When I first cut them out, where did I even put my thing? Okay, when I first cut them out, I was like, oh, this is gorgeous, but it's on paper. And I'm like, I want to display this. Now, if you just want to make a card, then this would work with a card, and you could cut them out with chipboard. With cardstock, and you could not glue them, but tape them together to make a triptych. But I wanted it to be like, ooh, I wanted to have it be my nativity. And I was thinking of, I know somebody that's in a nursing home, and they just don't have room for Christmas you know, nativity and what have you. So I'm going to give this to her so that she has a little bit of Christmas, and she's like an old Italian woman. So you don't have to do this next part, but this is what I did to do the chipboard, okay? So first I need just the you know, the shapes in chipboard, and then to cover my tape in the back, I need another pair of shapes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select this, and I'm going to duplicate it. Do the same for all of these. Duplicate. And then this, I'm going to duplicate, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of, I don't need all of this stuff on there, unless you want it to be double-sided, but I didn't. So I'm going to detach and then take off my foil. So detach, take off my foil. Detach. Down here is detach, by the way. And then I just take off the foil. But I don't want it to cut out in the same color cardstock, because then there's a chance that it would get put on the same mat. And that mat's going to be different. It's cardstock and chipboard. So I'm going to change the color of this now that I have it. And I'm going to go to brown, because brown looks like chipboard, okay? So I'm going to go to brown on this. And now I have 3 pieces that I'm going to cut out in chipboard. Now the third thing I would do is I want to cut out the back in just like cardstock so that it covers my tape. Also, don't need this part of the process if you're just doing a card, but if you want to do this chipboard thing. So this is what I would do. I would select my chipboardy guys, I'd group them together, and then I would duplicate them. And I would change the color on this too, because I need for it to go onto its own mat. So you could choose whatever color you want, as long as it was different than the other 2 colors, which it is. Okay, so now I have these 2. I'm going to also group these 3 together. And this is how I do it. You don't have to do it my way. I do have some pretty odd ways of doing things, but this is how I do it, and you might come up with a better way to do it. So Rosalind's asking about the difference between chipboard and craftboard. Okay, so here's the thing about chipboard. It comes in very different thicknesses, and there are actually, I think, 2 sizes, maybe 3, that are sold on Cricut. I'm going to show you what they are. So this is the one that I used for this project. It's called Heavy Chipboard. You get 5 pieces. Yeah, 5 pieces, but I want you to note this. 11 by 11. They're not 12 by 12, and that's on purpose because of the way that the machine works with this heavy chipboard. There's also available this stuff. It's chipboard that's got designs on it. This would probably, you might be able to get away with using this without doing a backing, although it wouldn't account for the tape. But anyway, it's got pretty damask colors on it, and it's 1.5 millimeters thick. And then they have the same thing, but in just plain. Chipboard usually comes in a craft color. It's very thick. I'm going to go grab some craftboard. Yes, it is. That's the answer. Correct. Okay. Now this is craftboard, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to try to do a side by side. This could definitely be used if you have an Explore and you don't have the knife blade. It's pretty thick, but see, I can flip it like this, and this is what this looks like. Craftboard. It comes in white, it comes in black, it comes in craft, and it also comes in a mixed. The chipboard just comes in this crafty style. So just to look side by side, This is, I can like still flip the craft board. It's not open, but I could not do that with this. It's very, here's one that's open. It's very, very thick, right? Okay. Now, you can also use chipboard that is from the back of some products. For instance, Cricut Cardstock comes with chipboard. When you buy a pack of one color, it comes with a piece of chipboard on the back. It's slightly different. I want to show it to you though. Sorry, I should have had these ready. You can do this in your Joy, at least this part, the decorative part, but you wouldn't be able to use the foil. You could use a pen though in the Joy, like a silver pen. You could definitely do that. Okay, so here is my pack of crimson or red Cricut cardstock, and on the back, or in the back, this is chipboard. So anything that's sort of like, it's just like kind of a thick cardboard, even cereal boxes would be considered chipboard. So if you're the kind of person like me who has to recycle everything, and so when you take things apart, you have to make sure all the pieces are going in the proper container, you might save that chipboard, and you would definitely be able to cut that chipboard, the stuff from the other products like the cereal boxes and what have you. You'd definitely be able to cut it with the Explore Air. This is really for this very thick chipboard, but you could try craft board, you could try thinner chipboard, chipboard from a cereal box, that sort of thing, and that's fine. But I wanted to show you what options are out there, okay? So in this case, if I went to go and make it, you'll notice that the three pieces of the chipboard, and actually down over here, same thing, the three pieces like this, and this one comes this way. Now, I actually used the foil with the item sideways, and it worked fine. So you could either do it like that, or if you don't want to do it that way, you can always turn them around by using that little circular handle. And I actually moved them apart a little bit. So this is the preparation phase, and this is the chipboard. Now remember, our chipboard is only 11 inches wide and 11 inches tall. So here is going to be a problem, because it's going past the 11 inches. So we can try to squeeze this like this, and then we can use one sheet of chipboard. Or if we really felt uncomfortable and we wanted to use two separate sheets, we could go over to material size and change it to 11 by 11. And then it would do it on two sheets here, okay? So I am more inclined to move my pieces and find a perfect way of using just one sheet. It's kind of how I am. And so that's what I would recommend. But if that feels uncomfortable to you, you can use two different sheets. And you see, my three pieces are well within the 11-inch range. Okay? If I didn't feel comfortable, even if I wanted to move this a little bit, I could do it this way. And even get this even closer to my 11 inches. Okay? And as far as these things go, it's okay for it to cut this way. This is our backing. And unless you have something that has an obvious grain, like for instance, if you had a picture, you don't want to have one of your pieces sideways. So if you did, you can always move this piece by using that little circular thing to here, and that way they're all facing the same way. Same with this, we did do this, okay? So let's go to continue. Now, I just think This takes an awful long time to cut, so I'm not going to show you exactly. I'm just going to show you how to prepare your mat, and then we'll put it together, okay? So to prepare the mat for the chipboard, I'm going to bring you down here. Hold on. You do need masking tape. All right. So I'm going to bring you down here so you can see. All right, so I've got my chipboard, my heavy chipboard. It's 2.0 millimeters, and I'm going to get a strong grip, which is purple mat. It still has quite a bit of grip on it, but even still, I'm going to put it on my mat, and I'm going to square it up to the top left-hand side like we do with everything. I'm going to go up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. All right, but even though it's on there pretty good, and even if you had a new mat, they recommend that you put 4 pieces of masking tape on all sides. This is masking tape. Painter's tape would work. Even washi tape might work. I've actually tried it with washi tape. It works. Now, again, if you're going to do some of these really thick things like basswood is another one, or if you want to do engraving, this engraving is something that really only works with the Maker. So this is just informational for you if you have, for example, an Explore Air and don't intend to go up to the Maker. It's up to you again. So, okay, so here we go. Now, if you were just using craft board, you don't need the tape, but for this, you are going to need the tape, all right? Then you're also going to, when you choose the material, you're going to choose, the chipboard, the 2.0, and you're going to be prompted to put in, this is the knife blade. It's really fun to watch, but it takes a really long time, about 15 minutes, to do these 3 pieces with the knife blade in the Maker. And you cannot hurry it up, okay? Now, for the cardstock portion with the foil, might as well show you that too. Let me, got all this stuff out. Okay, so with the cardstock version, this is what I came up with, the cardstock version, right? And it's foiled and it's cut out. So here is the cutout. So I prepared a regular mat by putting my cardstock. This is the Cricut blue cardstock. And then I got these foil transfer sheets in silver in a 12 by 12 size. So I don't think you could do that, Roxanne. They only give you some certain choices for working with foil. Maybe, maybe it's something you could try. I mean, I could try it too, but I would be inclined to say no. I wanted to do like leather, real leather with the foiling, but it didn't give me the opportunity. I could only do the faux leather. So I don't know why it's not selected. I could ask the folks. So here's my foil, right? Here's my foil. It's the shiny side facing up, and they do give you these pieces of, very long pieces of tape. This one got cut for some reason. Okay, and we want the entire piece to be covered because we're going to do our 3 pieces. And so we will then tape this way. And I'm going to try to make it as flat as possible, but it's kind of hard to do that because the foil is very thin. And it's sort of slippery. So here I am trying to, and it's best to do this on a very flat surface, which I am actually not working on because my keyboard's in the way. All right, so here it is. You see how it has like a little bit of this here, and that's okay. that will still work. But you want to avoid when the foil part comes by it lifting up too terribly much. So I'm going to try to pull it just ever so slightly, just sort of pull it this way, turn it around, and then I'm going to do what? Oh, this is bad. Oh, okay. All right, good. So then we take the foil. This is the last piece on there. I ripped mine in half, but that's okay. And I'm pulling on it so slightly. And I might come over here and sort of try to make it a little flatter. Like this. And maybe I'm just being picky. Probably am. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to put this through our machine. And remember, the foil works for both the Maker and the Explore, but not the Joy, at least not for now. And by the way, that feedback has been given to the Cricut folks. It would require them building a new housing, because you know the housing's slightly different for the Joy than it is for the Maker. So then what we would do is we would take our, because it's fine, we would take our, this is our toolkit for the foiling, and this is the one, you see how it has one circle around it? That's to indicate that it's fine. The one that has 2 circles is medium, and 3 circles, it's thick or bold. And then we're going to take out our housing. So let me see if I can go forward on this. Something's happening with my, oh no, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you over at my machine. Now we're not going to be able to wait until it's all cut out. That's why I cut out and did the foil ahead of time. All right, so I'm putting in my foil housing with that one circle, and then I take this, the whole sheet, right, with the mat, we hit that, the blinking arrow key, and now it's ready, and so I'm going to hit the C, and it will go and do all the foiling first, and then it's going to prompt you at the end of all the foiling, which will take quite a while. It is going to prompt you for you to put in, actually to take out the foil, take off the foil, and to put in the regular housing so it can do the cutting around it. Okay. And by the way, if you do not take off the foil, it will leave a little mark because I forgot to take off the foil there. Okay, and I'm just taking off my already done foil pieces. 1, 2, and here's my third one. And then I'm going to move you over so you can see what I did, how I put it together. Okay. So, this one did not cut through all the way, which irritates me. So far, everything about the foil is really working out great. I haven't had any, yeah, but you have to do this, or yeah, but you have to do that. It really works out great. It's really a well-developed product, and if you can get your hands on one, I know they're out of stock most places, but I think that Anna is going to be on. Yes, thank you, Susan. I already did that. But see these little stars? These little white stars, those are used to help you pull your mat backward and forward into the machine, right? But what you want to do for both the chipboard and the foil is you want to move those stars over to the right-hand side, because the stars will leave little like dots or impressions from going through the machine, and with the foil there's a potential that you'll get those little dots on your foil pieces. Thank you so much, Susan. Hi, Shirley. Okay, so it's going to continue to do that foil. Thank you, Susan. Okay, so here are 3 pieces, and let's see, I got to gather up all my pieces over here. Where did I put them all? I cut out these. And I'm just looking for my backing, but I suppose, oh, here are the backings. Okay, so here are the backings. 1, 2, 3. Now, what I found really good, but you have to be super careful with, is using spray adhesive for this project. Okay, so here what I did, just so that you know, but you can still use glue, but I'm just mentioning it for ease, because you can use glue, but you have to really make sure it's pushed down all the way, and it's really, what are the stars? The stars are little rollers that are on, let me just go back and show you on the machine, okay? But they're little rollers that normally are evenly spaced on this bar. And here they are over here. There's 3 of them. I think there's 3 of them. Yeah, that one stays there. So there's 3 of them. So when you're cutting with the foil, or when you're doing the foil, or you're cutting something really thick, like basswood or the chipboard, you want to move these over. And then when you go back to regular cutting, you can just space them out. They're just there to help the mat move in and out of the machine. But by having them there with a thicker material, it will leave imprints, because when they say stars, they have like little points on them. They're kind of a little cog there. Nothing major, and you know what? If you forgot to move them, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But for the best result, it is good to move the stars, okay? So here we go. So here are my pieces right here, okay? And what I did do is I put spray adhesive here. You don't need to use spray adhesive. You can use your trusty glue, but what I would suggest is that you get it on there really nicely. If you're going to use your glue, you're going to spread it out really nicely, and I'm trying to unstick my glue right now. And if that means using your fingers, then you might need to use your fingers, which is what I would do. But I would just make sure I get it all over, right to the very edge, without, right? Because it's going to be a rough edge, and we don't want it to show lifting, okay? You can always go back and put more on. I'm rushing through it, okay? So, but again, if you have access to, and you don't mind working with spray adhesive, this is one good application for it. It comes in a spray. I think Scotch makes one, and there's a couple others that are making them. Okay, so then we're going to match up this with this. If you have glue in your hands, be careful. All right, because you don't want to get the glue on the front piece. So there's the front piece. And then I would go ahead and do for my other 3 pieces. Where are they? Where's my other 3 pieces? Okay, here's one. And here is the other. Here's our Magi, and they're facing the right way this time. All right, and then we're going to put some glue or spray adhesive on here, like this. And again, you're going to do a better job. You want to make this project. I'm going to give you this project, even though it's in Design Space, I'm going to give you this completed project so that you can just make it yourself. You don't have to worry about flipping and all of that. You just have to worry about cutting it in whatever materials and using the foil if you have the foil. Now listen, if you don't have the foil, you can do this with a pan. Absolutely, you can do this with a pan. Not an issue. Now I'm going to confess something to you. I cut this and I forgot that my chipboard was 11 by 11, put it on a 12-inch sheet, and I turned it sideways, and I didn't keep track of this. So this isn't what it would look like, but I want to show you the whole finished project. So I'm going to just show you this half cut, really not very good example for you, but I want to show you how I finished it up. Okay, so here we go. I'm putting it on this. All right. All right, so now I started thinking, how am I going to put these together? Now, certainly you don't need to do this part, but I kind of liked that it was all one piece, like this. And you'll notice in between there is actually, it's silvered. I took a silver pan and I put it there. That's actually masking tape, which is how I came up with. Now, some of you might come up with a better idea. I don't know. So we're going to flip these over. Make sure you have no glue on your side. And then I took my masking tape and what I did was I started at the bottom. I had to leave a little bit of space. Just a tiny bit, 1/4 of an inch should be fine. Now, if it helps you, you can actually make a little indent in the tape if it helps. Or you can put it straight up, but I like the indent because then I'm able to like have the two sides folded in ever so slightly, right? So then I put my tape going through the back, and this is going to be covered up. That's why we cut out the piece of the cardstock, remember? So leave a little space like this. And we're going to keep working our way because we don't want it to get floppity. Yeah, ribbon would work too. I thought maybe like some sort of like frame thing, or if you wanted to hang them, you could do that by putting those little hangers there and putting, you know, I did. I think I did. But, so someone's asking if I should flip the other ones. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. All right. So here is what we got here. And that's why I cut out these. And then you could glue these on there. Now, the only thing that looks kind of crappy is this, the tape. So what I did was, let's just turn them around, like pretend like we put that on there. So you see it's got the tape in here. And so what I did was I took this, it's a Sharpie permanent marker in silver metallic, and I just used it to sort of silver up that tape like this. I would recommend you hold it like this, but you can do this or something else if you guys want to come up with a different idea. But this is what I came up with in the early morning hours. And then you do it on both sides like that. And then you're able to, let me go up. You're able to fold, like you won't be able to really fold it all the way unless you leave enough space here on through the tape. But I think that silver pen makes it look a lot better. Or you can do it, as I said, you can do it all together and not have this foldy part and just store it flat like this. So that is the project. Now, if you want to do this project I don't know. Do you guys like it? Silver vinyl. Silver vinyl is a good idea too, Susan. You got to make sure that it's facing the front. And for the person that asked me about putting it, so I did make a box of blue cardstock. Maybe. Right, so you guys are coming up with different ideas, and that's great. So this was what I came up with early this morning, 5 o'clock this morning. But you know, you might come up with something else. But this is all I had was the tape. And again, you can make it so that it folds in on itself like this, and then you could store it. Or if you want, you can store it flat. But this is just, I thought, was a great way to showcase our mystery material, which is chipboard, and with it the knife blade, and then also to use the brand new foil piece. All right, so yeah, this is great for a shut-in, somebody who's not able to get to church because of, for whatever reason, or during COVID crisis or whatever. And again, it's unless you know, just getting the materials, it's free because the images are free. But obviously you'd have to get, you know, the materials, and I'd encourage you to try this out. It's fun. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera. So that is today's project. Come back if you want to do this. Come back for the file. I like it here, front of my desk. So come back if you want to do if you want to grab the file. Nursing home, right? That's the immediate thing I thought of. And as you can see, we're not done. We're halfway through the foil process, so I'm going to keep letting that go while I say my goodbye. So that's our project for today, with the mystery material of chipboard and also foil. And tomorrow we're going back to, and it's also Christmas, so I killed 3 birds with 1 stone. And thanks, Shirley. And so tomorrow we're going to go back to our fall projects. Also, keep at it with the turkeys. I see some people have made the turkeys, and that's great. That was awesome to see you all so excited about the turkeys. It actually was probably one of my most viewed videos on Facebook so far. And we will continue on with doing some. Oh, and somebody from Dreaming Tree actually reached out after the video, and I'm going to be talking to them later, so maybe we'll have some special things coming on with them. All right, and I think that's it for today, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow with another great project on Cricut Chat. And if you are catching the replay, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Miss Rita to the Rescue, just as it is here on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Hi from the UK, Vicky. All right, everyone, you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you.